Hello, hope you guys are all doing well. My name is Mandy and we're back. And today we're going to do something a little different. We're going to talk about Notion. So, I've been using Notion for probably since March or so getting close to a year. And I've been loving it. I used to bullet journal quite a bit, but I found it was just incredibly time consuming, especially once I got out of school to kind of keep up with it and just remaking, redrawing like all my schedule, my calendar, and everything every month was just kind of daunting for me. So I found I hadn't used it, but I missed the organization aspect of bullet journaling. So over the past year, with getting more into Notion, I've loved that I can just copy and paste different pages that I use all the time. It's very effective. I use it on my phone for everything. That is the only way my brain can keep anything straight. So yeah, today I wanted to share this with you. I try to see how much of this I can show you before I have to head to work. So it will probably still be a long video because apparently I cannot make short videos. But yeah, I'm gonna kind of do an overview of my Notion. And if anyone is ever interested, or if you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Let me know if you'd like a longer video. Let me know if you'd like focus on anything. At some point, I would like to make public templates that people can use for the pages that I've personally made. I still have to figure out how to do that, and I know it won't take long to figure out. I just have to actually get myself to do it. So hopefully in the next couple days that will get done, and then I can edit this and share this on Twitter and YouTube and whatnot. So yeah. Anyways, without further ado, let me show you my Notion board. So this is the page where I pop in. I have this cover picture. It's a picture of Seoul. I really like it. I thought the colors were really cute. It's kind of a bit of the theme that I wanted for my homepage. So yeah. We've got my lovely weather forecast, all the coldness, but I'll know. Nothing crazy. Light snow on Christmas. That would be nice. That never happens around here. So yeah, just have my verses of the year, some different words. This is still from last year. I still got to figure out for this coming year, 2023. But yeah, and then I've organized everything. I'll show you the main home page first, and then I'll kind of dive into some of the pages that I think might be useful. So yeah, there's just my schedules and goal. This one I don't use tons, but yearly plans, monthly plans, weekly plans, routines. Um, this is just an acronym for financials, language, courses, travel, and health, because I didn't know what to call this section. So just a bunch of those things. And then we have just some random stuff. We have random music, Tokens World, just random stuff from Lord of the Rings, Hobbit, um, Rings of Power, and then a couple of pages I haven't used very often. Got my Spotify playlist for my church for some music I can listen to. And then here are kind of what I've been trying to do, because I get way too distracted all the times. I spend too much money on social media watching. This section right here is to help me control how much I'm doing each month on the things that I tend to over binge on or spend too much time in. So YouTube channels, I've kind of broke them down. So every month I pick different ones. These ones I picked for this coming month. So a couple of language learning YouTube channels that I'm going to focus on for this month. A couple of lifestyle and productivity ones. A lot of Notion ones, because I want to get more into kind of fine tune different things with Notion. And then a couple of just more like entertainment ones. And then I have some movies or shows, so a bunch of them that I can listen to in Portuguese or have listened to in English and have the Portuguese subtitles. Some I want to try to do all in French and a couple in German. And then we have some random activities, things, just when I feel like I'll know. If I need something to kind of like cheer me up, here's a couple ideas. A drawing at the museum that I have annual subscription for, studying in a cafe, doing my language lessons. Some of the stuff's a little old. I haven't quite updated. And then some random spontaneous activities during the month. So axe throwing, which I find really fun. And we have an axe throwing spot here in my city. And then skating at the Oval, which is this public skating rink here. And then just some random ideas for spending to kind of minimize it. So I'm not overly spending. I did rearrange some of the stuff, so we're gonna see how much I actually use this, but yeah. And then this I haven't really used in a while, just like sending my schedule, doing some social media posting, just random different things. So yeah. This is my language learning center. So I actually love how in Notion you can double click an image and it will pop up to the full screen, which is very convenient. So yeah, this is my focus for this coming year. I'm going to be focusing mostly on three languages. So Portuguese, Brazilian Portuguese, I want to focus throughout all of 2023. And then my secondary focus languages is going to mostly be French and German. Possibly a third one, which I'm still figuring out. And then I'm going to have like 4 to 6 dabble languages. So what I've been realizing over the last couple of weeks is I've known for a long time that I am somewhere on the neurodivergent scale. Um, I was never officially diagnosed at this point. Part of the issue is the background that my family came in, where we kind of didn't, growing up, it was kind of like ADHD isn't a real thing, all this kind of stuff. So part of being born in the 90s and so much has been learned over the past couple of decades about mental health and whatnot. So part of that, I was also homeschooled. If I'd been in a public school, possibly I would have been diagnosed at some point. But when you're homeschooled, you kind of can work on your own schedule. It's a little bit more flexible. I was able to study in a way that helped me, so that by the time I went to college and university, I just kind of had to learn a lot of like just get through it no matter how hard it is. Just force yourself to do it to extreme extent or whatnot. So yeah, all that to say, basically, while I would like to get diagnosed at some point, it's just very expensive here in Canada to do it. I'm looking at least 2 to 3 grand for them to tell me basically what I already know. So we'll see if that happens. But basically what I've been realizing over the past little while is that I probably have ADHD. It looks like my sister has it. Um, if I look at what I know, there's good chances my grandfather probably had it. Um, just kind of understanding how much him and I are alike in different ways. So there's a lot of this kind of stuff where I'm realizing basically I need variety. My brain gets bored really quickly. And if I'm only focusing on one language for a long time, even if I'm passionate about it, after a while, I just don't want to do it anymore because I get bored. So what I kind of want to have is my main yearly language focus, which is going to be Portuguese, and then 2 or 3 kind of after I go to Brazil, hopefully in April if everything works out. But once I come back, I'm gonna kind of spend like each quarter have a secondary language focus where I am going to be spending some time, but not as much time. And then in the last quarter 2, 3, and 4, I'm going to have just a language that I spend for like 2 months or maybe 3 months, and I just spend a little bit of time of getting to a very basic understanding of the language, being able to say, introduce myself, being able to have very, very basic conversations, being able to go to the store and say, "Oh, can I order this?" or whatever kind of thing. And just to kind of get into some different languages so you're constantly getting that dopamine hit of, "Oh, we're learning a new language. I can say this. I can introduce myself and whatnot," kind of situation. So that's kind of going to be what I want to focus on for this year. And I think that having that bit of a language that's good, constantly new and exciting, I'm hoping is going to allow me to focus in on the other, like stay consistently committed to the languages where if I spend an hour a day learning Norwegian or learning Afrikaans or Mandarin or whatever, I have to spend at least that much time in my main focus language. So that's going to kind of be my way of like, once you spend this much time in the main language you're focusing this year, you could spend about that much time in the fun, new, exciting language. So hopefully that's going to keep me interested. And yeah, so yeah, it's just basically my introduction card. Um, There you go. So I got that. I have a link to my language learning goals for this year. So it's going to jump over. These are some of my life goals of languages, which I think I still have to kind of edit a bit. But yeah, so basically these are some of the ones I had for this past year. And I've been making these cards, which I love. It's kind of like the goals that I make at the beginning of the quarter and then halfway through the quarter, kind of where I got into. So that was this past quarter, which we're going to have an updated language video at some point. So I'm not going to get into that right now. So, and then by the end of the first quarter, we're going to just kind of, here's some of my focus for Portuguese and Norwegian, which I'm going to be dabbling in for quarter one. So yeah, so that's that. Let's go back here. It's already been 11 minutes. I was never meant to do small talk. These are some links to the languages I'm currently been setting in this past quarter. A link to my Twitter. And so every year with Twitter, I tend to pin the language goals and updates for that year. So that's just my link to that. So I can go back and refer to that. And then as you saw in the other spot, there's my language cards for the quarter. So these are some of the things, kind of where the language is it a main, secondary, or dabble? What that biggest goal is, kind of where I want to be up to or at, and then different things that are going to help me to get there. So that's basically what those cards are. And then we have this whole thing that whenever I've been working on something or the lesson, so let's say I should have had a lesson today, but I overslept and I missed it. But like, say if I did the lesson, okay, that's the first lesson I've done this week. And I have 4 lessons that I want to do this week. So then once it's in progress or once I'm finished something, I can just move it to where it's at. So if I'm in progress, once I'm finished it for the week, I can move it, I've had this when I worked at the office. I used to use this kind of a system and I really liked it. So these are some things that they're not really applicable at this point. I might do them, but I'm not concerned about doing them every single week. And then these are just some that I'm not using. So currently it's the language that I'm not focusing on at the moment. But I still want to keep it in because I don't want to have to remake them. And then, so these are some of the different things I'm doing for this month. So as you saw above here, where I had, like the YouTube channels that I was going through this month. Well, basically, and that's what I did for those 3, all this kind of stuff. They're all the same kind of idea. But basically, I just have all the different YouTube channels that I really enjoy that I'm following and kind of put them in different categories. So some of them are lifestyle and productivity. So all the different people who I like to follow. So then that way, every month when I'm looking through and seeing like, okay, whose channel am I going to just focus on for this month? I can pick a couple from each category. So I feel like I have a good mix. So when my brain is like, I don't want to watch anything about Notion anymore, I want to watch about language learning, I have a little bit of that. So these are some of the channels I've been enjoying. Yeah, so basically that's what most of the other ones are. It's just kind of like a little database for me to go check it out. These are a million of my different collections. I have a lot of random ones. My reading list here. Let's see. Let's put you in full screen mode here. So these are some books. I have like which language they're in, where I'm at, if I've started them. I had to update this because some of the stuff has definitely switched. I've not added some. Some of them have been done. I haven't gone through all this. It's been a little while since I've updated this list. But anyways, my brain digresses. Yeah, so it's just which language it is in, and then where I'm currently at, the name, what the media form is, who the author is, the publisher. I don't know why I bother with some of that information, but I do. Publishing date. I like statistics. I like organization when my brain decides to work with me. And then I have a link. But yeah, basically that's just all that. So I found a way to do the stars. I think this was somebody else's list and I edited it to myself because I don't know how I would have found the stars otherwise. But yeah, so I have some of these collections, saying kind of with like movies. This one, I think, did I recently update this one? No, it was a different one. Okay, so this is stuff I've watched at the theater. That's, I think, what this is. Yes, these are pretty much my theater movie lists and then all that jazz. Yeah, so shopping list, grocery list. Honestly, a lot of these are still in like getting set up. I do like to create different cocktails and whatnot. So these are some of the ones that I've invented or made up from my decently good sized bar collection that I have going on that I pretty much never use, but I have. Oh, I completely forgot I had this. Apparently, if I want to make a raspberry vodka lemonade ingredients, there's the recipe for it. But yeah, so these are just some random drinks that I made up. This one is my favorite. It's kind of a twist off of a different one, but it's one of my favorite ones. I also realized I have another one that I figured out from a bar in New York that I had to make a syrup from home and all this stuff, but I forgot to put that in. So I need to do that at some point. And cool. So that, yeah. And then my task table, which is, as you can tell, very highly outdated. I don't use it very much, as you can tell. But yeah, so this is kind of just the home section. I'm going to kind of go through some of the pages I think are the most useful that I have that I use quite a bit or that I've just recently made. So, I've just started going over, I pretty much finished going through this. I'm going to go through not my personal ones because it's the internet. Basically, this is my template. And the other reason I do this is A, it's nice to be able to show people, but also when 2024 comes around, I can just duplicate it. Just go like, duplicate it. As soon as it decides to duplicate, there you go. Put it in here. Go to this one. I can just change it all to not 2012. That's a throwback. 2024, and then just go from there. So, but yeah, we'll go here. So this I got largely inspired from another YouTuber, which I can't remember their name at this point in time. So I'm sorry, but I basically just watched their video and then made it myself because didn't want to bother trying to, I don't know. I just figured I'd make it my own way. But it's very similar to what they had. So yeah, I really liked it. But yeah, so we have each quarter. And then basically, okay, let's do it this way actually. So we have our goals status. Actually, yeah, I think I could show you my actual one. I don't think there's anything private on here. Yeah, it should be fine. Yeah, we're good. As soon as the side's slow. Okay. So here's mine for this year. First off, we have a bunch of stuff. We're going to go over kind of the main stuff and then go into each quarter. So we have my yearly goals that I have. So just all these random different things that I want to focus on. Some of them are during a specific time. Some of them are over a couple of quarters. So I just included all the quarters involved. For these different things, I'm sure things will switch around, but this is just for me to kind of know that in my brain. So I have the current goals, which includes, I have it all sorted out a certain way, but also these ones, once they're done, they're not no longer in this section. This is just all of them here. And then actually I'm going to leave this complete for a second. And then I also have it viewpoint as when it's completed, it will show up here. So it will be in this section. It won't be my current goals anymore. So that was kind of nice to have that. So this way I can see them, but I can also see what I've done so far and whatnot. Then we have different supporting tasks I haven't started, but basically supporting actions. So, and supporting tasks, which I don't have. These are all going to be things related to getting my goals done and whatnot, but I just haven't got around to building that up yet. So basically I have it all set up. So we have the quarter page. It's going to have a link directly to each monthly's page, which I'll show you in a minute. But then we have all the goals that are related to this quarter. You can see all the different ones. So quarter two's goals are going to have different ones or some of the same depending. And then any of the supporting actions for the different tasks. So whichever task I need to do this quarter, and then in order to do those tasks, what I need to do. So that's what these are all for. As you can see, they're all organized by, I'm going to have the task for that quarter, all the tasks, and the done tasks, which apparently I need to add in here. Supporting all, and then supporting and completed. So they're all going to be over here so I can see. And each quarter is done up the same way. So each quarter, the only difference is it's going to be showing quarter two's goals instead of quarters one's. This is going to be set up to have quarter two actions, then all actions completed. And then the task going to be set up to have quarter two tasks, all tasks and done tasks. So that's the only difference. And then each quarter is connected to a monthly page. So, for example, for this month, we have my main goals. We have long-term goals that I want to have, debt I want to pay off, all that fun jazz. And then if there's like a certain challenge that I want to focus on every month. So, let's say for me, maybe my challenge is to make sure I drink 2 water bottles worth of water every day because I constantly forget to drink water. That's going to go in here. So then every day I can just find a way to check it off. I want to figure out a better viewpoint. I'm going to try this out and see how that works. But yeah, and then I'll have like, okay, if I complete this challenge, there's something for me that I'm going to let myself do. So something that I want or look forward to. It's because my brain needs some sort of reward. But yeah, so that's basically what this kind of setup is. And then there's also, if you go here, that's basically, so that monthly page you would have seen, come on, slow down, is the same here. And then I have my master one. So again, I can just duplicate it, top priorities, the different goals I have, look what I'm looking forward to, what I'm grateful for, things not to forget, any highlights. So yeah. And so those two, the yearly plans and the monthly, that was by that one YouTuber, which I need to check back and figure out. And then I have weekly schedule stuff. So yeah, this is where I just have all my schedules. I need to make a master one so I can just copy and paste it, but I haven't done that yet. Then yeah, there's just basically some random scheduling ideas, and then just when I have lessons, when I'm at work, different things I'm doing at different times. So that's just the system that I like to use. And then I just use every week. I found that's the most efficient for me and my brain, which is nice. Money matters. It's already been 23 minutes. Why is everything I do so long? Okay, so we're gonna go through this quickly because I'm gonna have to leave for work. All right, this is a template of the one that I have. Obviously, it's not the one I have because you guys don't need to see how I use my money. But yeah, so basically this is a yearly bill breakdown list. So I put in just random numbers and random dates. You put in any monthly bill that happens every month, and you put that in, you put the date in, you put the amount. It will tell you how much the total is going to be, which is very convenient. Because I like stats and different things, I have how much I need for money that I need for the first half of the month. So basically from the 1st to the 15th, and then how much money I need for the second half of the month, because my paychecks are generally on the 15th and on the last day of the month. So then that way I know how much money I need each time. I also have it divided up by bank. So then in a certain bank account, as you can see here, I could have like, oh, this is maybe all of my bills, like my credit card, my rent, insurance. Let's say those are going to all be in like one bank account. And then so my student loans and debit service, let's say. Sorry. And then maybe all my more personal spending, stuff that comes out every month, but it's not necessarily an important thing. Maybe all of those are going to come out of the second bill. Anything that's not necessarily important. I find it easier to do that so I can make sure all the money I absolutely need for things that I have to have every month are in one bank account that all my money can go in, and then I can send money to this other one that isn't as important. So yeah, so then I can say, okay, for every month I need to have certain amount of money in this first bank account. That's how I like to organize it. And then I just do a check mark system. So then once I paid it off, I can check. And then I can keep track. I will consistently have a spot where I usually update how much money I need left for the rest of the month. It's just an easier way for me to see this. This is probably one of the pages I use the most out of my entire Notion board. And then so I can say for this for the rest of the month, how much money do I need for the rest of it? Plus how much do I already have? So I know, okay, so the rest of the money that I'm getting where I have multiple different types of income, I can say like, okay, so certain amount of my tips I need to put in for the rest of the month so I can use for my bills. And once I have that, the rest of my tip money can be used for other things besides my bills. But yeah, so basically in this example, let's say if your total income is 25,000, your total bills, which you see from here, you minus that off. And then I always like to have without debt interest, how much it's going to be. So after you pay your monthly credit card, if you're like me, you have a little bit more debt than you'd like to. You can kind of see, okay, the faster I pay off my credit card, the cheaper my bills are going to be. And then you have like your remainder amount. So then after you pay off your main bills, then you can be like, all right, groceries. I need money for groceries. I need money for personal spending, which could be any of these things. I have money for my language lessons I put aside every month, money for savings, medical, dental, travel. So you have all these different categories and that's how you spend out the rest of your money. So you make it realistic to how much you're going to spend on groceries or personal shopping spending, and then you can kind of take the rest so you can see how your money's being spent. It's a little bit easier to organize it. And then I just have a spot here for random subscriptions. I know, okay, maybe these are biannually or annually amounts. And then if there's any other random notes that you need. So that's this. This is what I found. This page is the most useful page I use in all my Notion. And then one of the other pages I use. So that's my yearly one, but then I also have a monthly one. So I will add in my so basically this is just for monthly. So you can put in the date, you can put in other, I think it's which bank account it's coming out of. So if it's bank account number 1, bank account number 2, maybe it's out of cash. Your income source, which job it is, if it's a gift, how much the amount is, and if there's any comments that you need to have. So, for example, I might have, oh, maybe one of them was from my tips, but it was cash tips, or maybe it was my card tips. Maybe it was my tips from bartending. Maybe it was my supervisor pay that I get every month as bonus or whatever. You can write any notes that you have. And then you can put how much you think you're a month, how much you actually make, so you can kind of see over time. And then that's actually what this is. At the end of every month, I put how much I made that month. So I can consistently see, and especially where I have multiple types of income, I can see how much money I made. And then throughout the year, I can get a general idea. Like, even though, yes, there's some flexibility in how much I make because tips aren't always the same amount, depends on the amount of shifts I have and whatnot. I'm able to see, though, how much money I generally make every month. So then I can be like, okay, every month for this year, I've made at least this much money. So then you can be like, okay, this is how much I think I'm going to make in a month. And then that's where you can kind of calculate after your bills how much money you have left roughly per month kind of thing. But then, so that's that part. But then here's all your expenses. I've started using this a little bit more. I've been finding it a little bit more helpful. Date, where you got it from, what the item was, category, is it groceries, possessions, knowledge. This is kind of going back to the chart that we looked earlier when you split everything up. This helps me see, and then you can also change your view by if it's personal spending, groceries, language learning, health, however else you want to spend everything at split, so you can visually see. I tend to spend a lot of money on eating out or food, so that's something that I need to actually be aware of, like how much of my money is actually going to that every month. Yeah, so there's that. You put your amount and then the account, which bank account it is, if it's cash, all that jazz. So yeah, these two are probably the two I use the most. I've been playing around with some other ones there, savings, putting money aside to pay off debt, if funding trips, all this kind of stuff there. Um, yeah, I think that's all I'm gonna show right now. I am gonna do the language learning side at some point, but it's already been a half-hour video. I have to get ready for work. So we're gonna call it at that. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully this was useful. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Hopefully this gave you some ideas. Like I said, if there's any questions, anything you're curious about, um, anything you specifically want to see a little bit more, if there's any of the pages that you would be interested in having as a template, let me know. And I will do my best to answer them and see what I can do on the template side of things. So, yeah. Thank you very, very much for watching. Hope you have a great day and have a good one.